Not all sounds coming from heaven were cacophonous, clamorous, or dissonant. Some were quite melodious and pleasing. An enduring image from John's Apocalypse is the angel and the harp. The 4 beasts and the 24 elders before the throne of God also played the harp. Like the sound of the trumpet, the sound of the harp will be heard during the events of the second coming. With its pleasant sound, it will represent praise unto God and the prayers of the saints. The harp is an ancient instrument predating John and his Apocalypse by millennia. According to Genesis and the Book of Moses, Jubal, a descendant of Cain, was the inventor of both the harp and the organ. The ancient harp is not the one we recognize today. Its size, shape, and number of strings varied. Sometimes it was played by hand. At other times it was played with a small plucking instrument called a plectrum. The harp was not solely a biblical instrument. It was found throughout the ancient world. The presence of the harp throughout the ancient world testifies to the fact that it was not the invention of one culture, let alone an artifact of John's revelation. It was a universal musical instrument. If Jubal was the inventor of the harp, which the scriptures maintain, then the invention of the harp preceded the nations and cultures of the world as we know them. Though the Bible does not make the connection, Jubal got the idea for the harp and the organ from the heavens, from the polar configuration. Like the trumpet, the harp was first heard in the heavens before man reproduced it on earth. The form of the harp was derived from the polar configuration. The triangular or arched body of the harp was derived from the crescent on the planet Saturn. The strings of the harp mimic the plasma streamers radiating from the planet Venus. The sound produced by the harp sought to replicate the sounds emanating from the planets above. Even today, the planets can produce sound similar to that of a harp. The following recording of the sounds from the rings of Uranus provide a reasonable example of what the ancients may have heard. Another analog to the heavenly harp of the polar configuration is the theremin. Invented by Leon Theremin in the 1920s, the theremin is an electronic instrument played by modulating the frequency of 2 variable capacitors. This is accomplished through varying the position of one's hands in reference to what are called antennas. The electric signal from the theremin is transmitted to a speaker, creating sound. Modern versions of the theremin include the capability to create polyphonic sound, which was possible during the electrical environment of the polar configuration. The artist in this demonstration creates polyphonic sound similar to an organ or harp.